The storm had come without warning. Kalen had been leading the pack through the Valoran mountain pass when the sky split open, not with rain, but with shards of frozen crystal that cut through fur and flesh alike. The Korvathi were built for cold, their thick silver pelts designed for exactly this kind of weather. But even they struggled against the fury of a Class 7 ice storm, and Kalen was not Korvathi. She was human, soft-skinned, warm-blooded, fragile by every galactic standard. Yet she had walked at the front of their pack for 3 solar cycles now, ever since she had crash-landed on their world and refused to die. The elders had expected her to perish within days. Instead, she had learned their language, earned their trust, and somehow become the strange, stubborn heart of their tribe. Now, that heart was failing. Kalen. Vash's voice cut through the howling wind. The young cub, barely past his first molting, watched in horror as the human collapsed. Her thermal suit had been torn hours ago, and the cold had finally claimed what little strength she had left. She fell forward into the snow, her body crumpling like a leaf. Vash sprinted toward her, his forelegs carrying him faster than any adult. Behind him, the other cubs followed, 6 in total, the youngest members of the pack. They had been placed at the rear for protection, but now they surged forward, surrounding the fallen human. "She's not moving," one of the cubs cried. Vash pressed his snout against Kalen's face. Her breath was shallow, weak, but it was there. "She's alive," he said. "We need to get her to shelter." "The adults are ahead," another cub said. "We should call for them." But Vash knew better. The adults were struggling themselves, pushing through the storm to reach the cave system that would save them all. If they turned back now, the entire pack could be lost. He looked down at Kalen. This strange, hairless creature who had taught him how to read star maps, who had bandaged his paw when he'd cut it on volcanic glass, who had stayed awake for 3 nights straight when the fever had taken his littermate, singing soft songs in her alien tongue until the sickness passed. She had carried them. In ways that had nothing to do with physical strength, she had carried them all. Now it was their turn. "We carry her," Vash said. The other cubs stared at him. "We're not strong enough," one protested. "She's too heavy." "The adults always say." "The adults aren't here," Vash interrupted. "And she's dying. So we carry her. Together." He didn't wait for agreement. He pushed his body beneath Kalen's arm, using his back to lift her torso. Another cub moved to her other side. 2 more positioned themselves beneath her legs. The smallest cubs pressed close, using their bodies to shield her from the wind. It was awkward. Clumsy. They stumbled with every step, but they moved. Vornak, the pack alpha, was the first to see them. He had been about to send warriors back when the shapes emerged from the white chaos of the storm. 6 small figures, moving as one, carrying something between them carrying someone. The cubs walked in perfect coordination, their small bodies trembling with exhaustion but refusing to stop. Vash was at the front, his young eyes locked forward, his jaw set with a determination that Vornak had only ever seen in battle-hardened warriors. They carried the human. The pack fell silent as the cubs approached. Even the storm seemed to quiet, as if the universe itself wanted to witness this moment. "Vash," Vornak said, his voice rough with emotion. How did you?" Vash looked up at his alpha, and in his eyes, there was something new, something ancient. "She taught us," the cub said simply. "She taught us that strength isn't about being the biggest. It's about refusing to let go of what matters." The adults moved quickly after that, taking Kalen from the cub's care and rushing her into the warm depths of the cave. The healers worked through the night, fighting to pull her back from the edge, and the cubs stayed. All 6 of them, huddled together at the entrance of the healing chamber, refusing to leave until they knew she would survive. Kalen woke 3 days later. The first thing she saw was Vash, curled up at the foot of her bedding, his silver fur matted and his eyes heavy with exhaustion. He hadn't left her side. "Vash?" she whispered. The cub's eyes snapped open. For a moment, he simply stared at her. Then, slowly, he pressed his forehead against her hand, the Korvathi gesture of deepest affection. "You're awake," he said. "What happened?" Vash told her. About the storm, about the fall, about the carry. Kalen listened, and as he spoke, tears began to slide down her cheeks. Humans cried. The Korvathi had learned, not just from pain, but from something else. Something the aliens had no word for. "You carried me," she said softly. You're just cubs. You shouldn't have been able to. We didn't think about what we should be able to do, Vash said. We only thought about you. Kalen pulled him close, wrapping her weak arms around his small body. He didn't resist. None of the cubs did, as they woke and joined the embrace, piling around her in a warm, furry heap. Vornak watched from the doorway, and for the first time in his long life, the Alpha understood something that no amount of hunting or fighting had ever taught him. Strength was not about power, that it was about love that refused to let go. The human had shown them this truth simply by existing among them, by being soft and fragile and impossibly stubborn. And now, the cubs had proven they had learned. Vornak bowed his head. Perhaps, he thought, the galaxy had underestimated humans, and perhaps it had underestimated the hearts they could awaken in others.